Hey guys, what's going on? It's the 157 Gamer here, and I'm just doing a quick introduction to this video. It is myself and a True Tree Ninja who decided to join for this podcast talking about Beyond Light, what we sat there and what was positive about it, what was negative, our views on every little thing that we could sit there and pick out during it. We might have not hit every base, but we tried to hit as much as we could. So I hope you guys have enjoyed going back and forth between our opinions, what we have to agree on, disagree on, and all of that. On top of that, if you guys want to see more content on like this, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and give feedback, because feedback really does help with me knowing what you guys like and what you guys prefer to see more of and what you don't, along with views and all that. So I hope you guys sit there and enjoy, and feel free to just sit there and minimize the video in the background, as most of it is just background gameplay.
So I kind of wanted to talk over a couple of points with you, Ninja. Obviously, first of all, is like, what's your initial impression on Beyond Light?
Initial impression, so like day one impression.
Well, just what's your impression on it from the 3 weeks you've got to play so far? The content you've been showed and content you've played through.
Yeah. So I'd say number one, best thing I like to do, like, it's probably Europa itself. It is beautiful.
All right.
It is nice because I think Shadowkeep is okay, but as a veteran player, I'm playing on like the moon, going back to the moon.
It was so unusual.
I don't think it was as hyped. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, he's going back to the moon. It's like, oh, okay.
Like, it wasn't like a slightly new area of the moon. It was the moon.
Yeah, it was just the moon.
With Scarlet Keep.
Yeah, the Scarlet Keep area was new, but like it was only really there for the event. Like there was, you know, it wasn't anything. Do you know what I mean? Like it was, I've done this. It's like been here, done that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice for it to be back, but you know, it's nothing new. Europa was very nice.
All right.
And I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed that first. I feel like when you're doing the first mission and then the weather turns bad.
Yeah.
And you're just seeing like all the shit, just shanks or skiffs.
Yeah.
Skiffs coming in. And it's like, so you can see like just the lights and stuff, and I thought, oh, that's really cool, and your sparrows getting knocked around in the wind.
Yeah. Like just the wee details out there, you appreciate it.
Yeah, it does really make you feel like you're out on like the frontier. You know what I mean? Like this is, like it's not, you know, like it's not in city territory.
It's not in the known. It's not in the known. It's not in the known.
Yeah, it's like we know it's there, but we haven't no presence
progressed
there.
it. Yeah. All right. Well, going off to the wee thing that you're saying, sounds like being on the moon was like, all right, we've been there, done. Do you think the way that they went around Beyond Light was like? Do you appreciate the way they went with it, with the fact that you have quite a lot of content, quote unquote, currently gutted? Is what a lot of people would say. The fact that you have how many raids went? 4 or 5 raids disappeared. You had nearly 4 to 6 strikes disappear. A couple Crucible maps, all that. Like,
yeah, I can see the argument. Okay, for a start, most of them were the Mercury strikes, and don't know about everyone else, but I can say, thank God, if I have to run the Mercury strikes one more time, I'm gonna be really mad. Like we play a lot, so you know what happens as soon as I hear that Mercury loading new music. It's like, nope.
It's like, yeah, nah. It's just gonna be the next 5 minutes of sprinting through the.
Yeah, sprinting through the infinite forest. Well, that's kind of sad. The strikes themselves, like the actual strikes, were good. It was just
the openings.
Part.
Yeah, the openings was just. You've done it
like,
so many
if
times.
If I could just load into the start of the strike and just run the strike, that would be amazing. But I don't. I have to do all this running through the infinite forest.
All right. So, are you glad that they took the content away, or are you kind of disappointed?
Well, I think removing the content, I'm not happy to see it gone, but I understand why it's gone. Does that make sense? It's like, I understand why it's gone.
But do you feel like they could have at least added like a legacy area on the directory, because that's something I was sitting there thinking about. It's like, why couldn't they have added like a legacy area to keep those type of strikes, unless they're, or those type of raids, unless they had something planned for it.
Yeah, I think what this, well, for a start, I think Beyond Light maybe should have had some extra strikes. Like we were talking about before this happened, we were talking like, oh, it would be cool if they brought like the Fallen Saber strike back. But I think new is always good. Like, new will always be better than old.
Like, even if they sat there and brought a version of that,
like,
where...
Yeah, like they did in Destiny 1, they had like multiple versions of different strikes. Like, I really like the Nexus strike on Venus, because it's like, is the boss going to be the Vex boss, or is it going to be the Taken boss? You know, because you had like both you had the shield mechanics and the darkness consumes you one from the Vault of Glass.
Yeah.
So you had the raid mechanics and the strike, so you had to do the two, depending on which boss it was. If it was Taken or Vex at the end, you have to do the two different mechanics, and I always thought that was good. Because essentially you could do the exact same strike twice, and two different bosses and two different mechanics.
Oh, definitely.
So I think if there was more variation in the strikes, because at the moment the strikes are literally the exact same thing every single time. Like there's no challenge. Like I remember there was, like I said, like there was the Vex boss Taken, there was the was it the Archon Priest? The other one on Venus?
Yes.
People used to cheese up on the cliff. There was they added a Taken version of it. But it's like the Taken got there first, and they took all of that, all the Fallen.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there
and
was.
They had different mechanics.
All right.
So I think if they were going to keep what they had, then maybe could have added some more, like for example, with fucking pull the curtain down here, doing the Scarlet Keep strike. How cool would it be if like the Fallen invaded?
What, the Scarlet Keep?
The Scarlet Keep, yeah. Because the Fallen are on the moon as well.
Yeah.
How cool would that be?
And it could have been something that they could have done because of the fact that we've kind of progressed the story.
Or it's like the Fallen, yeah, it's like, or like it could be something like since like we're after this, like we've beaten the story, and it's like, okay, so they're like the summoned Taken, like to help them defend because there's not enough Hive, or the Hive are losing.
That would sound reasonable because there has been Taken seen on the moon already.
Yeah, it's just, you know what I mean? That's just some variation, you know, just like some slight variations would be nice. Kind of like the way they do with. They already have this in like the Inverted Spire. They have like sometimes you fight the Vex, and then sometimes the Cabal. So it's not as if they don't already have that in the game.
All right. Well, before you continue rambling on about.
Yeah, back to Beyond Light.
What's your feeling on Stasis, both PvE side and PvP side?
Stasis
because
is okay. Like you said, we're gonna talk about two different things.
Because obviously I'm gonna have to sit there and I'll give my view on it, and the reason I want to ask you on your view is that you play all your characters. I've still just only mained my Titan so far.
Yeah. So Stasis, I think in PvE, I was kind of like everyone else, and I was like, oh, crowd control class. I mean, we have Tether, we have Bubble. What do we need it for? And at lower levels, you are kind of like, I didn't really need this. See, when you do higher level things, it's so good.
Oh yes.
Just like there's a champion, okay, I'm just gonna freeze him, and I can just like, especially if you're really under leveled. It's just like a nice to have like an extra tool. Or it's like, hey, there's all these ads, and we really like, and then you just crowd control them, so suddenly like this ad spawn isn't a threat.
Yeah. It's like you limit health where they can come in from.
Yeah,
while also
and that's even the thing,
them.
like, we were even experimenting like with the wall grenades. It's like, it's really nice, like, because like I said, I play a lot of Hunter. I play all the class, but like it's like your dodge, like back to the defensive ability. Like you can just throw the ice wall grenade or the glacial grenade, and then boom, you have an instant wall in front of you. You know what I mean? Like I've seen as well, people like use it as a jump. Like you throw it on a wall and then you use it as a jumping point.
Yeah.
Like I think give it 6 months and see how people are playing with Stasis. I mean, you could probably do a lot of cool things with it.
Like it
So
feels like a
PvE,
super
I
that's
think-
very creative.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those exotics like Twilight Garrison or Bones of Ale. It's like it's like what does it do? It's like it doesn't give you power, but it makes you able to do something else. Like it gives you a new way to play the game. So it's always good. And then like you said, it's just creativity, like how creative can you be, how well can you like place a wall, how well can you use this to your advantage.
Alright.
So, but of course we'll get into your side of it, which is the PvE, or PvP side.
Like, I would agree with your PvE basis on it, whereas like, it is one of those supers that is like, you don't feel like it's overpowered for it, you don't feel like it's underpowered, but when it's
create a lot
used...
of lore through it, which is
Yeah.
insane.
But
I personally mainly play as Night Stalker. It's like wow, I just killed a bunch of people with a sickle, and it spawns like 2 words.
But again,
Oh,
I'm
fine.
wondering if that's because a lot of damage, depending on what super you're using, is caused by crystal kills. Like, do those crystal kills have a different classing on them regarding to if it was a super that created them or not?
I'm not too sure, but it comes from the super, so I would assume. But maybe I'm not 100% sure.
Like, that could be what causes
Maybe
that.
that's why.
But no, like, I do agree, it is one of those supers that if used in the right scenario, yeah, especially when you're on the level, it is a godsend.
Yeah, like I did, like, put it in perspective, I did the final counseling mission, I mean the final counseling mission, not the,
Yeah, you're talking about...
the main story.
You're talking about the
the-
extended story, kind of.
Yeah, the Dark Priest. I did it 26 levels under what I needed for the recommended, and if I didn't have this super, I would not have been able to finish it. It was
Yeah, and
just
you told me
so
to do the
good.
same, so you did, and it actually did add to the experience. So,
Yeah, it
actually,
was like, oh, suddenly like this wave of melee landals that was just such a big threat. I could just like one tap it.
alright.
It was such a good help. But,
So, trying to get back on track here, so what was your opinion on it being in PvP?
PvP? Well, my first experience.
In terms of...
My first experience was I threw 2 sickles at someone and they died, and I thought that was pretty epic. And then my next time I used my super, I did it in the air and got shot instantly. So I was like, huh. Okay. So, yeah. I think at the start, people complain, it's like at the start, obviously, I'm not the biggest PvP player, I'm not bad at PvP, I'm actually pretty good, I just don't enjoy it as much. Is that maybe a bit presumptuous saying I'm okay, I'm above that. Yeah, we'll say that, I'm above that. I find a bit more humble. Oh my god. Pickles.
But like, yours understand that it's like, it is one of those type of supers that felt...
It was fun. I like people complain and like, this is PvP now, this is horrible. And I'm like, oh my god, PvP is actually fun for the first time in 3 years. This is amazing.
Like, that's the thing, for a lot of people... For a lot of people, like,
Yeah, I
our
was the
takes would be,
opposite
like,
then.
unpopular takes. Because I was the same with you, it's like, I'm enjoying this because it's slowed
But then
down.
again, I was the sort of person that every time you stream and YouTube was hitting on Gambit. I was like, why is everyone hitting on Gambit? Gambit's fun.
That was another thing, like, we sat there and enjoyed Gambit.
I was so weird about it, because everyone's like, I'd rather chew my own feet off than play Gambit. I'm like, why? Gambit's fun.
Gambit's an enjoyable game mode. And that was the thing, I felt like...
I'd rather play Gambit in PvP.
Like, I felt like Stasis had a horrible stigma in PvP because it was unknown. And...
It was like everything. New is scary, and it's
Like, new is
okay.
scary. And that's the thing, is because...
Nerf it immediately.
In fairness, Stasis did counter the current meta or playstyle that was in PvP, which was
just
W. It was W key with shotgun,
that.
W key with a melee, W key with a grenade. It was basically just push
Line
forward.
top.
Push forward with some weapon that is immediately
Line top,
insta kill
switch
and
to
push
one
to the
shot.
next.
Yeah. push someone, switch to an auto rifle, spread them down.
And that was the thing, is like when I
Not
said,
in hunger, it's like I see you for an instant, you're dead.
and that was one of the things,
It's-
is like when I was like in my experience when I was playing the first 2 weeks, I have enjoyed PvP the most this season.
I've played more VP, more PvP these 2 weeks than I have in the last 9 months.
And that was my thing. It's like I enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed this more than the last season, because everything started to slow down. A lot of the gameplay combats turned into kind of skill-based gunfights, where it's like if you have the better accuracy or have the better drop, you're getting that kill. You're getting that, but you still have the chance to duck out if you've screwed up, if you've messed up your firing, or if you get an advantage, you can duck out without the threat of, well, they're close quarters, I have nowhere to go.
Yeah, that's one thing I really liked about it, is it actually brought gunfights back to PvP. Like, there were actual gunfights, and I was like, oh my, this is so good. I'm actually having a gunfight with somebody.
That was the thing. It's like I sit there and work I'm part of a Discord community for Destiny LFGs and all that, and a lot of people in the first couple of weeks were hating on it. And I was like, oh, this is legit broken PvP. I want to sit there and gouge my eyes. And I was like, and a lot of people were sitting there saying, were calling all my comments bait, because I was genuinely enjoying PvP and enjoying stasis of PvP. I will admit, being 3 weeks in and all.
The first week, like the first time, it's like when you do have to admit, you put up a Titan wall and you burst through someone like the Kool-Aid Man. It's fun.
But that was one of the things. Is like when I first done that, it's like no one else was doing that. Like a lot of people were just using glyphosate grenades to.
Just like the sniper looking down the wall,
nah.
you throw the wall grenade. He's like, ah, great, now I don't have my line of sight. You burst through the shotgun.
And it's like, what the? It's like, where did you come through? And that was one of the things. It's like it added another playstyle where you denied line of sight and then you aggressively pushed him without warning.
Yeah, it's like you just, or even like what is the dust grenade? Like you can pull people out of position. I love pulling people around corners with it. Like you throw it at the corner because you know they're corner camping you with a shotgun. You pull them out and it freezes them, and if it doesn't freeze them, you kill them because they don't have line of sight.
Because they sat there and were unprepared, and that was my thing. It's like a lot of people hated that, and I can kind of agree in a certain sense, but I also disagree that
it's one of those.
If your positioning was poor, you deserved it.
It opened up a lot more thinking. I think you like, and then like obviously some of the supers makes nobody know how to counter them day one, so you just sort of just hit the super. That is a tramp.
So, nice. So that was one of the things where.
I've been killed by that in a long time.
Oh, I'm gonna get killed here. So it was one of those things where it's like people hated it because it was unknown and they refused to try and adapt to it.
It's like, oh, this thing's killing me. I just like it. And it's like, to be fair, even when I got killed by it, I thought it was pretty funny. Like he's shattering into 1,000 pieces. Like, nope. That's kind of funny.
Like that thing. Anytime I did get killed by it, it was, well, I deserved it. A lot of the times when I did get killed by that, first of all, I was like, I deserved it. And it was one of those things with, like, I play as a striker Titan. I usually play a striker Titan with Skullford. I am that scummy person. And, like,
Jesus runs Skullford.
Like, I'm not going to sit there and
hypocrisy.
Sit there and ignore, like, sit there and says, like, oh no, I run a wholesome. No, I run that because I know I can punish people with it and do it over and over again, hence Skullford.
You are the very thing you swore to destroy.
What did I say that I swore to destroy? I swore to not to sit there and use meta.
You're that person.
But like I said, I sit there and use it in terms of punishment. If someone's sitting there chilling out of the corner, I'm going to punish them.
Gonna shoulder charge that guy.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm just figure that little tree right there.
But
just walk from a tree and just run.
But that was one of the things. Is like people refuse to adapt, and I myself got punished for it a couple of times because when I sat and decided to run my arc Titan being all scummy and all, I tried to charge someone, and I was just shut down by a Warlock melee grenade. I was shut down by Hunter's double tap
The shurikens.
shurikens, literally frozen in
They
place.
remind me of. They
What?
remind me of. Remember when you used to play Overwatch with Scalar? It's like, how did that thing hit me? You just threw it at a wall and it just flies.
And it just bounces. And it was just one of those type of weapons that was just like, okay, I need to actually think when using this. I can't just be like,
The dinkers.
hey, I kill you now. It's like, yeah, the set and be prepared. It's like, can I get to this person before he freezes me? Can I do this before Z, Y, all that? It's like, okay, and what am I going to have if they do end, if it does end up being a character that's running stasis? What am I going to do?
Probably die.
And most of the times it was die because I was already in the method of charging them. But other times it was just like,
Yeet. Yeet.
you need to fall back. So I was like, one of the things I did sit there and say really early on in stasis was, and I still do stick by it, I feel the need that your character's stats should play a heavy effect. I know resistance does play a slight effect with how much damage you get when breaking out already, but not as much as it
I don't even think
should
it's
do.
the damage of breaking out. I think it's the time it takes to break out is the problem.
But it's also the damage at times, because it's like, you can break out before the scene, but because you have so much damage, like, even a stray bullet kills you. Like, a stray bullet can kill you with how critical you are. And that's one of the things that's like, makes people go like, there's no point in me trying to break out, because unless the person has died in the process. It's like, well, sod it, I guess I'm not going to live. Yeah. So that was one of the things about it. It's like, it was just half the time it felt like a death sentence.
Half the time it is a death sentence.
Yeah,
But that's just because like the person set it up, like I said.
the person set it up.
That's why I love the hunter grenade. If someone charges you, just throw the wall grenade and birthday on them, the crystals. Just
And
kill
crystal
them.
shatter. And that's one of the things is it was. Oh, I don't have super. Oh, but the gate closed. I'm gone. Oh. Oh, so it
Yeah, you
pushes.
get-
It pushes
yeah,
through
you
and
get-
launches through.
yeah.
Alright.
Once the first person goes, it kills you anyway. I
Oh.
use your super anyway.
That was my thing. In terms of Beyond Light, I enjoy what we've got, but at the same time, I can't help but agree with the other half, which Art's in saying is like, there's not much content. In terms of Beyond Light, there is and there isn't. A lot of people don't agree with how short the story was, but at the same time, it's like, if you sat there and went through it
Yeah,
without
I think
boosting
there
your
should have
gear
been-
beforehand,
Yeah,
It was
wasn't
fun.
there that story of like people wanting refunds because they couldn't actually beat.
yeah, people
Like the
complained because they
bosses?
couldn't beat the first bosses and were wanting refunds. That was
Yeah,
that
I
was
never-
an actual
was
thing.
Was that an actual thing?
That
or
was a
just
legit
thing?
thing. People were wanting refunds because they refused to sit there and grind up the levels to actually be able to defeat the first.
To be fair, I never had
Boss.
a problem with grinding up the levels for a certain thing. It was more just I wanted to be under leveled. Because like I said,
That was the same with me. Like I chose to be under leveled in it.
Like when is the time you actually get difficult content?
Like yeah, half the time
Master
it's Master Nightfall or
Master
Grandmasters.
Nightfalls, Grandmaster Nightfall.
And sadly, I don't play the game long enough to be able to try. I just got my shit smacked by a Minotaur.
Yeah.
To sit there and actually try Master or Grandmaster stuff because they're just not too many light levels ahead of me. So it was never a part of the end game content that I could grind for because I just didn't have that much of a grind to achieve it.
Yeah. But let's get off track here. I wish there was more Aramis I wish there was more stuff with Aramis and Varix.
Yeah, because
Like,
it
I
basically
wish
is once they
more-
went, it was
Because
just.
that kind of, there was like an interesting sort of, there was an interesting sort of idea. Like, it kind of makes me feel bad. Like, I don't want to say I feel, yeah, I'm feeling like I feel bad for them. But
For the
at same
Lexington?
time, it's like, well, yeah, but like, it kind of, like, kind of sad because they even said like it's weird. Is it weird for you like walk through the ruins of your home and stuff like that?
Mhm.
Like I do kind of feel bad for them, and it's I think Varix and all that was very interesting. I think it's cool as well. We got more hints as well. There were like Mithrax and stuff, and like the House of Light, and I do hope we see them in the future.
I hope we do see more of Varix and all, because this has kind of opened up. Well, this no, it
I do
hasn't
like
kind
as
of.
well that they called back to Forsaken and see its death. Like that wasn't just completely ignored.
Mhm.
Like I like the fact it was like
The fact
this
that
was actually,
that news actually
this was
spread.
brought up.
Like
you know what I mean?
that
Like, this
news was
brought up,
spread.
like, it wasn't just ignored. Yeah.
So like it
Yeah,
wasn't
this
something
is a
that was
thing that
just.
happened. This needs to be acknowledged.
It's like we heard about this. We know when your vanguards are dead. Like those times stuff was great and all. I do feel like
It's
they
kind of
could
like
have
it's like when
had.
the first Iron Banner happened. It's like, hey, remember us? We're veteran characters. We're Iron Lords. It's like, oh, like, okay.
I do feel that they could have applied a better B story.
Yeah, but oh, the wall. Yeah, it's a kind of all A story. All, well, it's kind of like the whole Aramis thing, and then there's the whole sort of Brea thing, and then there's one thing. If I was to add anything, I think I discussed this with you. I was saying like if there was one thing I could have added to the end Beyond Light, I really wish at the end, like when we got our darkness, like we. I was gonna say spoiler, but like when we actually get our darkness powers off at the end, like during that boss fight, I really wish that while like Sage got knocked out, got possessed, and like I think it was just missing that moment when Aramis was being frozen, just like this fake and just like a just like the pyramid, just like, oh, thank you, Aramis, like your job is done.
Just like
Sort of,
because the whole plan was
whole
for the
point is,
for the pyramid
yeah,
to
was to
get
get off
us
to
there.
fucking use the darkness.
So like that would have been a nice touch and all.
It's kind of like the whole Forsaken thing, like the whole storyline was really just to get us to the Dreaming City, enact the plan, Savathun's plan.
My thing, I would have liked to sit there and see some more progression towards. So, like, to me, what technically classes the B story was the Born in Darkness. You were sitting there talking to
the Stranger, and that is
Stranger, also known as Elizabeth, and them getting to sit there and her finally piecing things with Anna, them trying to prevent all that. And that was a nice part of the story B, but I would have liked to see more of us diving a lot deeper into why Clovis went and started using the assist power for the exos, why this was the only method that he could to sit there and bring people quote-unquote immortality and all that. And then
why was
even
he studying the Vax?
and then even have that at that end you end up having the darkness speak to us again. Then they're consulting us on like, oh, so you've now decided to wield the darkness. Which do you like better? Are you feeling the strength of it?
It feels like it shows up at the start and then it just kind of fucks off.
Like that's
like
the
it
thing.
kind of just leaves the story. It's like
Beyond Light story,
like yeah,
kind
for
of
a story that's
stops.
for a
It just
story
stops.
that's all about wielding the darkness. It doesn't really seem to.
Like it just halted. It's like it didn't
Like,
get left on a cliffhanger. Just halted, and now we're
Yeah, it
in
just
season
kind
of
of
the hunt.
stopped.
So we are.
That's,
And
I
that's-
thought it would be. That's why I was like, I wish it had like sort of that extra line. I wish it was more this sort of a like kind of like a devil on your shoulder,
Mhm.
like the whole way through the campaign. Like that would have been really cool. Like even during what the boss fights, it's like you can't beat. Obviously, like for story reasons, you can't beat them without using the darkness subclasses
Mhm.
in the fights. That would be really cool. If it was
Just having the dark souls and
just
take
like a
over your
little
ghost
like,
there.
voice in your head, just like telling you, it's like, no, the light can't do it. You won't win this fight. You will die here. You
Yeah.
have to use this power.
Yeah, give in and use the darkness, stuff like that.
Yeah, give in, use it. It's the only way to survive.
It's the only way you're gonna win. But it wasn't. They just didn't try to capitalize that.
Like for the whole like all of it tried to corrupt you and tried to give you into the we kind of walked pretty willingly into this. You know what I mean? Like we just kind of were like, okay.
Like we just kind of like, oh, Crux, yeah, I'll talk to it. And like,
I like
don't
Ghost
get me.
protests a lot, which
like,
I think is good.
That's a nice.
I
That
do
was a
think
nice
that's
touch.
nice that the ghost is like, yeah, like if you get fully taken over by dark powers, like I can't.
I
bring
don't
you
know. I
back.
don't know what I can do for you. But
Yeah,
as
like-
long as I can help, I will help.
I do think that is a nice, and I like the apology after the campaign.
Yeah.
Like when you're just driving around in your Sparrow, it's like it'll activate sometimes. It's like just the, you know what, we are.
Like I don't know what I had to worry about. I've been with you through thick and thin and all that.
Yeah, it's like we're fine.
It's like I may not be comfortable with this, but as long as I'm able to sit there and help out, I will do what I can.
Yeah, like that was a nice moment.
And that's my thing. It's like, don't get me wrong, Bungie done a great job on the
Oh,
storytelling.
if we're gonna
and all
talk
that.
about Ghost, are we gonna talk about that?
We'll wait. Let's just finish like full-on conclusion with the online before we move on to season of the hunt type stuff. If that's what you're
Well,
referring
that was for Salvation Script. Exotic.
Oh well, yeah, we can talk about that. I thought you were referring to the ghost.
No, I'm talking about the Ghost. You're saying about the Ghost stuff, so I was like, arguably
Like,
the
the-
definition of the game.
Yeah, like that was the thing. It's like the storytelling was done really well. Don't get me wrong, they did do well. Could have been better, yes. Any type of
I just
storytelling
think-
can be better
okay.
if
That's the
applied with
thing
certain
is, I
context.
always feel with Death is there's just never, it's an extra, there's just never enough. We also consume it so quick.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like we are just, it's like one of those, do you know, like that meme, like this, like the, oh god, and like stuffed cake in their mouth, and then they're like, whoa.
Mm-hmm. Like we're just taking it in all at once, so we aren't
Yeah,
piecing
I
it.
genuinely do not think I genuinely do not think they can make content fast enough for us
Yeah.
to consume. I do not think they can physically make it fast enough.
Which is why I quite kind of like I know people sit there and get annoyed about the time getting and all, but I digress. We'll come to that later on. You want to sit there and talk about the story. And
The Ghost Mission.
Ghost Mission.
Salvation Script.
Like there's a
Yes,
Salvation script where I'm getting the
I did love.
basis
yeah,
weapon.
I hands down to Nolan North doing that. That was so funny.
I still love how that came about. The fact that was
That was
purely
just-
brought about because of the fact that they couldn't get the Drifter's voice actor in. And I think what tops that off for me isn't the fact that they couldn't get Drifter's voice actor in and they got Nolan North to do it. The fact that they had to get Nolan North to do a second voicing of it because his first impression was too accurate and too good, that they had to get him to redo it to sit there and have it worse.
Yeah.
Like that was a nice, that was just something I found quite amusing to sit there and
It's
hear.
a nice little touch. It's like missions like that, like adding a bit of, a bit more character and stuff.
It just added to the Ghost the fact of how much has changed while being around us. To be able to sit there and have that type of charismatic.
So like we barely speak, so it's like Ghost speaks for us.
Started speaking a bit more recently.
Yeah, but that's like kind of the whole
Still
point
very
of a
short,
character.
but-
A character is kind of a blank slate.
Yeah,
You
still
know what I
doesn't
mean?
know
It's like,
who he is. No.
Yeah, it's like we don't have a name, we don't have a... Because it's all like, it's, you know, it's for, you know, your own personal headcanon. What your character's like.
Alright.
Even aside note, before we sit there and get into Season of the Hunt content and all that, I just want to sit there and go through, like, obviously...
Beyond like, yeah, wait, beyond like, things I didn't like.
Yeah.
Okay, I kind of like this, and I also disliked it, because unlike you, I have a problem of multiple characters.
What was
Having
that?
to redo all the grinding sections to unlock stuff was the biggest pain.
Elaborate?
So, for example, you have to do some of the, like, the Empire Hunt, right? You have to do some of, like, Varric's quests, unlock the Empire Hunt, right?
Yeah.
So I had that, and I did all, like, you know, the after campaign quests, and I had to do all those quests. Then you have to do, you know, you have to do the sections of quests to get the Empire Hunt. You know, like you have to do, you know, have to find the platoon, and you have to do this, and you have to do that. You know, go hunt this platoon down over here, go hunt this platoon over here, go kill this lieutenant over here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you have to go around and do all that stuff. Okay, that's fine the first time you're doing it. But see when you're doing it for the third time, you're just like, please, this is taking forever, can I just cut this?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I really wish this was a point one. Like, I really hate having to do this 3 times in a row.
It would have been better if it was like one of those things where you, like the way that they're done with new light players, you picked up a quest and then it gave you all of that. They should have done that with if, okay, you've gone through the story. Okay. Here's this quest. If you pick up this quest, you will only go through the main missions. You won't go through the grinding part. You won't go through the strike that you had to go through halfway through it. You basically just get boss A, boss B, boss C.
Like, it's just kind of annoying because, like I said, it's like the grindy parts to do the thing you've already done. Like, I wish it was like the Empire Hunt. I wish it was like account-wide. Because like you know, the Season of the Arrival stuff, like the filling up drifters thing was account-wide. It's like, it's just like I said, that was my one problem with it. And that's the thing is, you do notice how short it is because you can play through on, like I said, on multiple characters really quickly. But it's just like the grinding, like, oh, you have to kill so many things to unlock this part of the thing. And you have to kill X amount, and you have to kill X amount with abilities.
Yeah.
That, and I wish there was another land. And I think that's pretty common.
I've heard a lot of people saying this, and I was like, oh, I wish there was another land.
I
I was like,
having to go the whole way. It's fun, like, don't get me wrong, it's good on you, I get it, but it's like after you've completed it, and you're just, you know what I mean, like if you hit endgame.
I feel like there should have been one over at Rise Reborn.
Yeah, it's like having to go there, then having to go back to Varric, and having to go the whole way up there again.
Yeah, like I can understand that it's like, oh, this is new terrain.
This
is new terrain, this is where we have our landing point, this is where we basically have our foothold here. But even then, it's like, we could have at least had somewhere.
After the campaign.
Yeah.
Just like after you've done.
It's like after the campaign, even at the end of the campaign. Even at the end of the campaign, just have it that you place down a transponder. It's like, alright, we need to have a better foothold for keeping Aramis's forces at bay.
Yeah, just like, and that's as well is like the thing about, like, I feel like that there's tons of area in there. Like, I almost thought there was a strike in there.
Yeah.
Fight the giant brig.
But that was the one and done.
This seems like a strike area, and then there was like one and done. So that's the thing I think is really annoying. Half of Europa doesn't get used because it's all at fallen ships, and you go into it for like one mission, and then they never use it again.
You go in for one mission and a couple of collectibles, and that's it.
Like, that could be a strike, unlike that giant brig. You know what I mean?
And for all we know, it could end up being a strike later on down the line, and I would love for it to be a strike later on down the line.
Yeah, like what they did with them. Was it like Malak? They turned like just there, like they knew like it was a new strike on the. Like, here's just this area where we're not doing anything. Let's just kind of do strike.
It's like it's not something much, but it's like it would be appreciated.
And that's the thing, like I said, with them removing strikes, I'm surprised they didn't just like. I mean, the Empire Hunt themselves did strikes with the way they used to do strikes, like with the Warmine and Curse of Osiris. Like here, it's a campaign mission, but it's also a strike.
Yeah. In fairness, none of the campaign missions did become strikes.
Yeah, well, they are like Empire Hunts, so they're like strikes.
Yeah, kind of.
You know.
Like they kind of did, kind of didn't. It was like they got their replayability out in different form.
Yeah, they have replayed it. The more than just
like.
Yeah, but like I said, the whole running up, running down, running up, running down, running up, running down, running up, running down, and you're just like, please.
Like, would that be the only thing that you would disagree with in Beyond Light, or is there other negatives you have for it?
We're happy to send the message, Commander. Excellent work.
That's all I can think of at the moment. Apart from that, like, I enjoyed what I got. Like, I got what I paid. Like, I feel like, you know, I got what I paid for. I didn't enjoy it.
You actually end up jumping on a bit on there, because I was going to ask, is like, do you feel what you paid for Beyond Light was worthwhile? And oddly enough, that it is kind of a controversial one, because some people are saying that they feel ripped off.
I feel, you know, actually there's one more thing I wish they did.
And that
I
is?
wish they did more with the Cosmodrome for veteran players.
Yeah.
I feel like if you don't like going through the New Light mission, okay, that's nice. The Strike is nice, but that's also linked to New Light. I think I wish there was something more for veteran players in the Cosmodrome, because the whole Cosmodrome at the moment feels like, hey, this is a New Light area, which is strange because there are bosses there that are ridiculously high, that you can only beat after beating the campaign. You know, and I don't mean like just beating Erebus. I mean like doing the full.
Yeah, getting to the soft cap, hard
war
cap.
for Europa.
Yeah.
I'm completing that storyline. And so it begs the question: is why is there those sort of bosses there? Is it just for, you know, something to do? Is it? I don't know. It's like, again, I think it's cool if they added like lost sectors and stuff to all these old areas. But it's like, as a veteran, like, again, and with them removing like flashpoints, like, the Cosmodrome's cool, but there's no real reason to go there.
In fairness,
Does that make sense?
I kind of see the reason why removing flashpoints was a thing, because they were a way of defending, quote unquote, in terms of lore / story / the world shit. Flashpoints was basically more units have ended up arriving in this area, go there, whittle their forces down, and you get rewarded.
It was just kind of like, this is like the plan, like, but that's what I'm saying, like, there's gonna be no like flashpoint and you can go there. You're like, go do public events on Earth. I'm like, I don't care.
Like, that's the thing, at the moment, it's like, you can't go to EDZ because, like, at the moment,
Yeah,
EDZ
no,
and Europa is Cosmodrome and Europa, let me correct that, is currently the two most active patrol points because of the legendary Lost Sectors and the current season's content, along with Tangled Shore and Dreaming City.
Lost Sectors, but I'm just saying, like, there's, like, but I'm only doing that solo. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not doing it as a group, because you don't get a reward as a group.
You don't get as much,
like, I wish
you don't get a big payout.
Yeah, but I wish there was just, like I said, like, even if it was just like the flashpoint, like, here, do so many public events on Earth, or, like, there's no Empire Hunt for that, but I think it's strange. Not Empire Hunts, Wraithborn Hunts. Right.
But that's the thing, I want to keep that for something else.
We'll talk about that afterwards. But, like I said, it's like, apart from the story and the Lost Sectors, there just doesn't seem to be, other than nostalgia, like, there doesn't seem to be a lot of reason to go there.
Alright.
Like that, like, I wish there was, like, something active to do there. Like,
Like the thing is, I'm going to kind of play devil advocate with you there. Like I know you're saying it sounds like there's not much to do there and all.
No,
And
no, no. I mean, there's plenty to do there, but I'm just saying there's not an active reason to go do it. It's the
Yeah.
same thing. Like I can go to Nexus, and I like that's why I do
Nets
like,
is
all my
currently
stuff,
like there's nothing to do there.
Like I like on the like one lost sector to be on my guns, so I just like that lost sector. But it's like I have no reason to go there. Like I have no reason to go there. I have no reason to go to literally the Cosmodrome or the TV. Like there's no reason.
Like the only time you're going to the Cosmodrome is because the legendary lost site doesn't appear there, and even then, that's only if
Yeah.
your intention is to grind exotic gear.
Yeah, it's exotic. Yeah, I'm saying like I wish it had like Dreaming City had like the blind well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it had something to do.
I was
Over and over
actually
over.
going
And
to bring that up. I kind of wish there was something like that to do over and over again in terms of even if it was after like something to do with because again we have the Vex portal, but we also have some shit happen down in Clovis Bray. Like even if there's a place there where it's like this facility's got banned in, but we have rampant exos in them out. Stuff like something like that. Just like you walk into the area and you're there to help it. Even if it was to do with like spoiler, Clovis Bray the first. Like you go to his
Yeah,
area after you
something
complete it,
like
and that ends up being a public zone where you're having to defend him off from Vex.
Yeah, they really messed an opportunity to do like a horde style thing with the back portal.
Vex portal I feel is too out of the way.
No, but I'm saying like they could have had like back portal.
Oh, in terms of it coming, yeah.
Like that would be really cool. They could have like a horde one, do like ODST like Firefly.
Yes.
That would have been really cool. It's just like a map here. This is like, you know, research. Or even like it could have been like the spawn back for like live combat, like exo combat room like 1. Like there we go. And they like would open the portal for like Vex to come through.
Like, here's one of my things. Like you just have to give your opinion on Beyond Light, it being worth its money and all that. And I'm gonna give my opinion. And I'm going to play Devil's Advocate's opinion as well. My opinion is, yes, I find the content we were given is worth the money. I find that I am happy with what's been given for, in terms of what I paid, which was £60 due to the fact of getting DLC plus the season pass. More like passes, sorry.
Remember, yeah, it's the whole year's worth of content.
And to me, I find that fine because, in my eyes, people have paid £60 a year for Call of Duty.
Yeah, that's sort of
4 years worth of content before moving on to the next game. In terms of Devil's Advocate, I would have to say it's not worth the money for the content you get. And the reason I say this in terms of Devil's Advocate is, yes, you get Beyond Light story. You get the main storyline of Beyond Light. You get the Clovis Bray storyline B of finding out about Bray. You get the raid. You get the stasis ability. You then get storyline B-2 of the War of Europa. And thinning out more of Erebus's
if you can do the strike, but that's about it if you don't catch it.
Yeah.
But I do think that's cool, like the fact is you still get access to the strike.
So it's like all that and all, but the reason I'm saying yes, you do get access to them. I don't know about the strike though. But the reason I'm saying it's not worth the content is like, yes, you get all that, but is it worth the payoff that end up happening? You will lose out on 4 to 5 different raids. I'm pretty sure it's 5 because you have the 3 Leviathan, you have Scourge of the Past, you have
No, you have 4 armor. There's 4 chronophone.
Okay, so it is 4. You lose out on 4 raids. So we've ended up losing out on 3 public zones or patrol zones, no matter how shitty one of them was. You then miss out on multiple of strikes because there was you miss out on 1 strike on Titan. You miss out on 3 strikes that were on Mercury. You miss out on.
No, it was only 2, wasn't it?
I thought it was
There
no.
were 2 campaign.
Was it 2?
No, there were
I
2
thought it was 3.
There were 2. Yeah, because there were campaign missions. There were 2 of them.
Oh, it's 2.
There was the Vex one and there was the Cabal one.
Oh right, the one going through the maze is the heroic mission.
Oh yeah, it feels like a strike 'cause it's that long.
So there's 3 strikes gone there, and that hasn't even included IO. How many strikes did IO have?
I'm actually gone.
Like what was the strike on now?
There was 2. There was the Pyramidian and then there was the Bastion Core.
Yeah, so there's another 2 strikes gone there. That's 2, 4, 5 strikes gone in total from there. You have. I don't think you got many of the Crucible maps disappeared, did you?
No, all the Crystal maps. are
Crucible
still
and
there.
Gambit can stay. But
Nope, Gambit map we lost. What one did we lose? We lost the one in the Tangled Shore and the one in the Dreaming City, which is really weird.
yeah, we no longer have them, but we have the ones that we have Titans.
For Titan and Mars, which are still there, which is really weird.
So that's my thing. Is like.
Oh, that's another thing. Why isn't there more Gambit maps? Like, why isn't there more Crucible maps and why isn't there more Gambit maps?
And I will agree with that, but that's kind of when it comes into Devil's Advocate. It's like it feels like the content we got does not.
The way they did 2 expansions every year, they only did like 1 minus 6. At least they got like 2 guaranteed like 6 Crucible maps. Do you know what I mean? And then obviously Forsaken we had the Gambit maps. We had 4 Gambit maps, and well, we had 5 Gambit maps because the one after the raid got completed, and then the 2 extra from Season of the Drifter.
But that was my thing. It's like, in terms of Devil's Advocate, it's like the amount of content we got for the amount of content with Lost is not substantial for the price that we had to pay.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, in terms
can I
of.
go
Go for it.
Yeah, I agree at the moment. I don't think blame you on my part. I think it's just a dashing problem at the moment. And I'm like, yes, we did lose more content than we got. That is, like, I'm not denying that, and I do think that is kind of annoying. But it's now up to Bungie to add content. Like, it's like, I feel like it's the same problem I think with the weapon replacements, which I don't know if that's the thing you want to go into. The problem with people we're having at the moment is there wasn't enough of too many weapons from that and not enough new to replace it.
Yeah.
I think it's the same with like the strike, stuff like that, and the Crucible maps, that is a temporary problem, and that the longer it goes on, like come this time, come like, you know,
The longer it goes on, the less of a
season
problem it's
pass,
gonna get.
Going on like the 3rd thing of the season pass, like the summer. You know what I mean? Like there'll be that many new weapons and stuff.
Like that's my thing. I feel like the reason the weapons feel very harsh at the moment is it was Sunset that was having to sit there and take out weapons of nearly 3 years worth of content.
Yeah, so they can't add 3 years of weapons back into an expansion.
So like that's the thing. If it was just if they start that from year 2, they kind of would be fine.
To be fair, how many guns were exactly the same stat sticks with different aesthetics?
Oh, there were a lot.
Do you know what I mean? Like, how many guns were exactly the same?
There could have been
Like
easily
the, what do you
5
call
to
it?
6 that would have been.
Yeah, like the, what do you call it? The one I'm using, the pulse rifle, the Europa pulse rifle,
Healing erosion. I have it in my inventory. Let me just check it.
Yeah. It's literally just the
Healing confusion.
Yeah, it's literally just for the equality gambit pulse rifle. We
Oh.
call it.
I can't remember the Gambit one.
I should have known it because I loved it.
I
But
know
it's essentially the exact same rifle.
Mm-hmm.
It is literally the exact same. It just looks different.
And that's kind of my
It's the exact same gun.
thing. It's like I feel like we're going to need to wrap this up in an hour long and don't want to have too long. I can agree with the terms of weapons. The weapons are all things that need to sit there.
Yeah, I think
that will
this is-
eventually
yeah,
sort itself
It's a
in the
problem.
long run.
It is a problem that
Game
will
with content.
eventually fix itself.
Yeah. Same with the content. Obviously, now
Yeah.
you were going to have to sit there and deal with
Yeah,
quote
it
unquote
sucks now.
content drought.
Yeah,
But
at-
again, we
at-
haven't
at the
finished
moment,
season of the hunt. That we're going to sit and talk in a later podcast. I'd rather leave that for something when we get more into it. But
probably the end of the season, maybe.
Hmm?
When we see, probably when we see like. So I assume we're gonna have to.
we know
fight that.
we know there's going to be more. We know there's going to be more.
Yeah, because we're gonna have to fight time more. Okay.
And that's why I don't want to talk about it now, because at the moment we're going to be judging it on basically. We don't even know if we've got the tip of the iceberg yet.
Well, I assume we've got like most of the content of it. 'Cause if we're working this off the way it worked last year, like there's periods. Hopefully, there's something in the middle. Like
I have a feeling it will continue during Hawkmoon. Anyway, again, we're getting off topic here. I digress. Beyond Light. Is it worth its money? Personally, yes. I would highly recommend, if you are going to commit with Beyond Light,
If you're an active player.
if you're an active player, yeah. I would highly recommend, if you're an active player, commit. If you're on Xbox or PC or console or anything, if you can get it at a cheaper price, go for it. But I would highly recommend trying to get the Beyond Light DLC along with the yearly season pass, because you won't
This video is
regret it.
sponsored by Bungie Incorporated.
Really is. It's just like, if you're going to be playing for the long run, you want the season pass content to
Yeah, plus it's like you just want to see
cushion it.
Honestly,
If
like,
you're
in
someone
a
that just wants
PvP
supers,
player, you want these supers.
you're going to want the super, then you're going to want the weapons.
Weapons continue to lose it, but you definitely want the supers. Like the supers themselves are.
But like, that's my thing. Is like, I would recommend bite the
Oh, hello,
bullet,
I
pay the extra price. Pay the extra price for the year worth of content. Like, hopefully this year you won't regret, especially with how it's going.
I mean, yeah, there's probably going to be another outbreak after Christmas, and you're going to be all locked in your homes anyway. So you may as well buy some, play video games.
Definitely.
And what are you going to do?
Is
Be
the
a productive member of society?
Is Beyond Light worth the price of the content? Personally, yes. You actually get quite a lot, and if you're someone that is willing to go deeper into the lore, collectibles, and all that,
Oh, the lore is brilliant.
you do definitely
Probably
get a
the
lot.
best lore expansion.
Like, the lore in this expand DLC alone is pretty deep, because it expands deeper on the darkness, expands deeper on Europa, expands deeper on Elixni, it even expands deeper on the Clovis Bray Foundation and all that. It is quite a huge pool of content and lore you can go through. In regards to everything else in it, Raid, I have to admit, it's kind of up there in one of the better raids to go through. Obviously, people found ways to cheese it already, so it's very quick to run, but that happens with nearly every raid. But if you're sitting there doing it with team and all that, amazing raid to sit there and run with the team, amazing raid to sit there and have your mind going, because it does take communication in terms of the exotic weapons we've got and exotic gear we've got, and the subclasses. Again, not bad additions. Some of the exotics are really great. I've heard a lot of talk about the Mask of Arcus, is it? Or Baracus?
Baracus.
Baracus,
The
a lot of people.
Omawa Shinderu mask.
A lot of people are loving that mask. Sometimes classes are enjoying the Overshield, Shield of Ice. Personally, I'm not exactly liking it. Yes, it gives you an Overshield, but it does not. It takes a lot less damage in terms of energy weapons than if you were actually full health. So you can leave it. But yeah. Opinion about my overall opinion about Dark Light, Beyond Light. It was a good expansion. Have I got my worst out of these 3 weeks? Yes. I haven't really had a boring time. If you're one of the people that heavily grinded, you're probably going to have very little, but I've casually grinded it. Like the first 2 weeks was kind of heavy. Trying to be raid ready. Sadly, it fell through. The third week was more just progressing into grinding triumph stuff, lore, and finishing up certain quests that I have done, and I still have quests to go through. In terms of the Stranger and some other stuff. So it was like you do get a lot of content to go through. Well, you get a decent amount of content to go through from Beyond Light alone. Obviously, it's going to be different depending on opinions, but that's how I feel. In my opinion, content isn't bad. Could there be more? Yes. It's never bad to have too much content, to have a little bit more content. It's never too bad to have a lot of content. So especially with these type of games.
I think so. Okay. Can I add a caveat to
Go
that?
for it.
I think it's good to have lots. Like, you don't want repetitive content.
Yeah. Repetitive content bad. Don't turn out as like Anthem, where every mission is basically do this, collect this, survive, return home.
Yeah, you don't want repetitive. Like, it's you're just walking back and forth. You're just like grinding.
You want unique content.
Yeah, you don't want like a busy work. That's what I like to refer to it as. I like referring to it when I play WoW. It's like, this is just busy work.
It's like it doesn't exactly have any.
Like, there's no purpose to this.
Yeah.
There's no reason I have to collect plenty of these things. It's just busy work.
So like that's my thing. I would recommend Beyond Light. Anyway, that's all I exactly want from this, because I don't want this to be too long. It is just something to sit there and listen to.
Talk 20 minutes about whether you recommend buying.
It wasn't 20 minutes, it was actually 5. I have a timer here. Fuck you.
Oh, it's professional.
Hence why I knew it was getting up to an hour. So, I hope you guys enjoyed us in the Talking Back. Obviously, if you want to have some content to watch strike action, you'll get why some of the pauses are weird and all that, and why Ninja periodically shout out yeet shurikens.
Because they're dinksters.
So yeah, if it's feel free to sit there and just listen to it, and I hope to see you guys in the next one, where we're probably going to be talking about Season of the Hunt.
Yeah,
I
probably.
think that'll be a decent
At some point.
cover.
Eventually.
Just like everything on this channel, it happens eventually. Anyway, I've been the 157 Gamer, this has been Ninja, and I hope you guys enjoyed our little chat/spat about Beyond Light. Peace.
Bye.